So at first I was going to post about the 3-hour-long experience I had with trying to get my applications run on my iPod Touch. However, I figured I'd spare you 9 minutes of me ranting about how hard it was, and I'd actually show you how to do it yourself, and in under 30 minutes, no less. So, on this week's episode of Hot Cocoa, we're going to take a look at what you have to do in order to get your application for the iPhone to run on the iPhone or iPod Touch, assuming you've paid $99 and gone into the developer program. Coming up on this week's Hot Cocoa. So, for the sake of this tutorial, I've gone and reset my iPod to factory defaults, and I'm gonna go ahead and plug it in here, like so. There we go. And normally iTunes at this point would pop up, but I have that turned off. So the first thing that you're going to need to do to set up your iPod or iPhone to be able to run development applications on it is you need to go to the iPhone Developer Center, which is at developer.apple.com/iPhone. And once you've logged in over here, once you've paid the $99 fee and then subsequently been accepted and activated your developer account, you'll see over here the iPhone developer program, and you can go to the program portal. Click on that and it'll load the portal up here. This is where you're going to be managing all of your applications from. All of your certificates, all of your device IDs, all of your applications IDs. And this is also where you're going to be distributing it to the App Store from. Now you'll notice over here that Apple has supplied some nice video tutorials. The problem with these is, one, they're all sort of separated, so you have to watch each one individually, and two, they tell you how to set up the program portal, but then they don't tell you how to set up your application to actually run on the device. So that's what we're going to be working on today towards the end of this. So if you go into your team section here, your team, if you signed up as an individual, is just yourself. You can't add other team individuals, and for whatever reason it's showing the wrong name here for me, and I've contacted Apple about that, because if you try and modify it, it says contact them. I don't know why. It shows up quickly everywhere else on the site. Anyway, and then under here, one more thing under here. Under tech support, after you signed up, you get 2 technical support incidents where you can email tech support, and they'll actually help you with the code of your application. But you get 2 only, so use them wisely. And over here we have the certificates, and you're going to need a certificate for each person on your team, which in this case it's just me, so we only need 1 development certificate. Under devices, you will have the each device that's registered to run your program on. Let's see. And you can add up to 100 per team. Under App ID, these are here because I've worked them before and there's apparently no way to remove them. But your App ID contains the unique identifier, which Apple puts in there, and then this, which is going to end up in the bundle portion of your application. You have provisioning profiles, which links them all together, which you then load into Xcode and into your iPod. And then distribution, which is how you get it on the App Store, which we won't be going over in this particular tutorial. So if we go back to certificates, we actually create the certificate on your computer using the Keychain Access program. And you can get to that program by going under Applications, and it's under Utilities. So what we need to do is go up to the Application menu here, and then go to Certificate Assistant, and then we want to request certificate from Certificate Authority. So it's going to ask you for your email here, which in this case would be the same email that you signed up for the developer program with. Your common name, which would be the whatever name you signed up under, and you want to set this to saved to disk, and check let me specify key pair information. So if you click continue, this will pop down asking where you want to save it. We'll just save it to the desktop. Save, and you want to make sure that the key size is set to 2048 bits and that the algorithm is set to RSA, because if these aren't set right, then it will refuse the certificate and you'll have to make another one. So you continue here, it'll create the certificate request, and click done, and then we're done with that. Now you need to add the certificate to your developer program portal thing here by going up to add certificate. And down here, we'll choose the file that we just created, the desktop. Choose that, and then hit submit. And it'll add that here, and then it'll say pending approval, which should take not more than a few minutes. So let's see if we refresh this, if it's been approved. Actually, no, wait. Normally, if you were a team, you would have to wait for the team member to approve this, but since you are the team admin, you just hit the approve button. So once you hit the approve button, I know approving your own certificate seems a little weird, but you have to do it. And then you have to wait for issuance, which should only take a few minutes. Hit refresh here, see if it's been issued yet. So while we wait for that to finish being issued, we go into devices, and you're going to need to add your device here. And it says I can add 99 out of the maximum 100, which I'm guessing if you delete one, it doesn't let you, it doesn't give you that spot back, which is kind of weird. So I'm going to add devices, and you need the device name, which is just anything you want to call it. So Kevin iPod. And then the device ID, which you can get by, you can either get it in iTunes, or if you go into Xcode, and then close this, and go up under Window and Organizer. Normally the first time you plug this in, it'll ask you if you want to use it for development, so you just say yes. I'm going to remove these here. There we go. Anyway, this is your device ID right here, so you can copy and paste that into there, hit OK, and then submit. There we go. So we've gone and added that, and let's go back and see if our certificate has been issued. Yes, it is. There we go. Now we need to go and create an app ID. Now this is a unique identifier for each of your applications, which I'm hoping, let's see, I've already created one called Hot Cocoa. So let's see, we'll call this one Hot Cocoa podcast, and we'll just add this here, hot cocoa podcast dot asterisk, and the asterisk just lets you use this for any application under that. You can also delete that and put in like your application name there, but I've read on forums that that doesn't always work, and it's better to use the asterisk. So we'll add that there, hit submit. there we go, we have our new one there, and our ID. And then we need to go under provisioning and create a provisioning profile for them. And let's see. Now let's remove these. So I'll remove those there. And we'll add a new one, which we'll call Hot Cocoa Podcast. And this, a provisioning profile combines your certificate with your device with your app ID. Your certificate, app ID, and device. Bundles it all in a nice, neat little package, which you will then load into Xcode. And while this is pending being created, we need to go back to certificates. And we need to first download this certificate that was issued to us. So that'll end up in our downloads folder. Actually, I think I had this set to download to the desktop. Yeah, there. It's on the desktop. And you then need to download the WWDR intermediate certificate, which, there we go. And we then need to go, and I'll close Xcode for now, go and add these to our keychain, which you should be able to do just by double clicking on them. Double click, just add keychain, and double click again, and yes, add keychain. So now you have your two certificates on the keychain there that should allow you to run your app on the actual device. Now we go back to provisioning, see if it's been issued yet. There we go. And we'll download the provisioning profile and close Safari here. And if we just, let's see, double click on that, Xcode will open. And if we go in, oops, not there. We go into the organizer, under here, we want to add this provisioning profile to our device. So, now that we've gone through all of that, we are still not ready to run our application on the device. Not quite yet. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to download one of their sample applications that you can get. Let's see. I'm going to download the one called the Elements, which is interactive periodic table of the elements that I think is kind of cool. So I'll go here, and it'll ask me to log in again. You know, you never realize just how locked down Apple's system is until you start developing for their mobile devices. It's a little ridiculous if you ask me. So we download the sample. That'll download there. There we go. Close out of Safari and open up our project here. There we go. Now you see, if we go up and try to run it on the device here, and build and go, it'll start to build it, and we'll allow it to use the information in the keychain, and it'll say, your mobile device has encountered an unexpected error, application verification failed. Now, I think it's important to note here that I followed everything that we just did is in the documentation on those tutorials on Apple's website. From here on, I have yet to see anything about this on their website. So if you follow everything on their website, you're going to get that error. So this is how you actually set up the project to run on the device. So the first thing that we need to do is under the info.plist here, you want to set the bundle identifier to the, if we go back here, go into the history, to the developer connection, iPhone Dev Center, and for whatever reason it never remembers that I'm logged in, so we'll log in once again. Wait for it to log us in. Create a pizza, go into the program portal, and go back to the app ID, and here we go. What you put in the bundle identifier here is your app ID minus the asterisk and minus the unique identifier. Why they make you take those away, I don't know, because they don't mention that you have to take them away anywhere in their video tutorial. So we're just going to take this part and load it into here, set that there, and then you can add on any app name you want. I'll call it the elements. Yeah. There we go. And then, okay, so we've done that. Let's try and run it again. Save that. And application verification failed. So the next thing we have to do is under targets, right click on your application, go to get info, and under build, under code signing, you'll notice the code signing identity here, normally it'd be set to something generic, but we want to set it to our iPhone developer there. Okay, so now we've got our certificate in there, we've got the bundle ID. Will that work? No, it won't. The application verification has still failed. Now, this is by far the most obscure piece of thing that you have to do, and this is what took me 3 hours to find when I tried to do this for the first time. For whatever reason, this is not found in any other documentation that I've looked at yet, and it's not mentioned in most of the even like forums that I went to try and get this to run. I don't know if everybody's supposed to know this already, but here's how you do this. We need to go to File, put this in the resources, File, New File, and under, actually before we do this, let me show you what's actually going on. So if you try and build this, and we get that error, we can go to the console and you can actually look at the debug console for the device, which if we run down here and look at the most recent, we'll reload it. This is what happens when you try and load your program on the device. It'll say, this is all prefixed with error. I'm not really sure why, but here's the important part. It says missing entitlement application identifier has a value not permitted by a provisioning profile. Now that's kind of vague, but it does say we're missing an entitlement. So what we need to go do is add an entitlement. So if we go to File, New File, and under, let's see, code signing, we want to hit add a new entitlement, and we'll call this entitlement. Entitlements.plist. I'm not sure if it has to be named that. I tried doing this once before and I didn't have that name and it didn't work. So, and all entitlements.plist is, as far as I can tell, it's a plist with a single Boolean value in it called getTaskAllow, and by default it's enabled. However, your program will not run with it enabled, so you have to disable that. And then we have to go back into the build settings here, and right here where it says code signing entitlements, right there, we need to manually enter the name entitlements. Did I spell that right? entitlements dot plist. There we go. Now with any luck, this should actually run now. So we'll save that. It's installing it, and it still failed. And save all. And will it run? Will it run? It's installing. Starting mode observer. And there we go. Yay. It's running. And you can't see this, but trust me, it's running. So, for whatever reason, this time it wanted this to be set to true. Last time when I did this, it wanted to be set to false. So, if it doesn't work as true, try setting it to false. Or if it doesn't work as false, try setting it to true. And with any luck, and maybe quite a bit of luck, $99 and a lot of work, you can get your application to run on your iPod Touch or iPhone. So, see you next week on Hot Cocoa.